Stephanie Milky here, aka KetoMOM, or often called mom, sis, Steffi, daughter, wife, aunt, and friend. Just like many of you, I carry a lot of titles. My favorite title is mom. I should probably say wife, which takes a lot of my time. But let's be honest, if you want to do something and do it well, you will make the time for it. Commitment is hard because we find ourselves overcommitted, but when you practice prioritizing, you will find out what is actually important and what you can let go. With the KetoMOM podcast, you will learn together how to manage our time, commit to the most important things in life, and I will equip you with the tools you need to feel qualified each step of the way. My name is Stephanie Milky, and welcome to the KetoMOM Secrets podcast. Good morning, good morning. Welcome to the KetoMOM page. My name is Stephanie, and we are going to dive into winning the war in your mind. If you don't have the book, we're just going through the book together. If you have the book, there's some incredible questions and things for you to actually do in the book. So if this is something that you feel like is a challenge for you, is your mindset, or it's a constant battle, or you know you need to overcome something, this is an incredible book for you to physically have on hand because of the questions and the actions and the activity that has you do to work towards getting that out. Does that make sense? So as you're tuning in, I want to know one thing you're thankful for. A thankful heart will switch your morning. It will help you have a better day. A thankful heart will help you see things differently. Gratitude throughout your morning and throughout your day will shift your day. It will shift your mindset. It will shift your choices. It will shift the way that you feel. So I'm going to help you. You have to share below one thing you're thankful for. I'm thankful for, I was writing down in this little journal that I have, it's called a prayer journal, and it's just for a year, and it has like every morning, so for the first month, it has like declarations in it, of declarations and things you can speak over your life. It has things, a spot to write down for each month of some things you're thankful for, and then it also has like prayers that you're praying for people, and different things. So I wrote down, I'm thankful for homeschooling. I wrote down, I'm thankful for my family. I wrote down, I'm thankful for the lake, for the view that I have, and I'm thankful for my company. So that was my morning. What are you thankful for? Share with me. All right, yesterday we talked through this book. We talked about the power of how when you believe a lie, even though it's a lie, you act as if it was truth, and it affects your life as if it were truth. So if you're following along or you're actually reading in the book, I'm just going briefly through chapter 3. And it really is basically along the same lines of yesterday, but I want to read a story to you. It's the way he starts out the book, and I thought it was great. So I'm going to read the story to you and then just ask a couple questions to get you thinking throughout your morning. All right? Hey, if at any time you need recipes, keto tips and tricks, anything to do with keto, your lifestyle, you can tune into this page. You can go back all the way 7 years of content, and you can go to KetoMomSecrets.com, all one word, KetoMomSecrets.com for recipes, how to get started, mindset, book club, and more. All right? So here's a story for you. He says, there is a large, shaggy, hairy, lumbering dog. He says, let's call this dog Max. So we're going to talk about Max. Max will not leave his yard. A car drives by. Max loves chasing cars. The thought of grabbing one of those bumpers and wrestling the beast into submission makes the dog drool. Max wants to chase the car so badly, but he sits in his yard. Then two boys start playing catch in the street. The ball rolls right to the edge of Max's yard. He desperately wants to go get the ball and run after the boys, but he doesn't. One of them teased the dog. What's the matter, Max? Oh my. And then there's my Max. Just kidding. It's not Max. His name is Ranger. So then he goes, what's the matter, Max? Are you afraid of the ball? Max wants to bite. He says, bite the little brat. But his tormentor is just outside of the yard. So Max stays in the yard. A cat walks down the street. Max cannot imagine the nerve of this cat. He knows that they are evil. And he would love to chase the cat, right? Max wants to attack him, but he can't. He just sits there. Why? Why is Max not chasing the car or the ball or the cat? there's an invisible electric fence line that's around the perimeter of the yard. I'm not going to read the whole story, but basically here's what happens is Max had an electric fence around the yard, right? It kept him inside and it zapped him. And what happened is the fence stopped working a year ago, but because the dog was zapped once or twice, or maybe even 3 times, the fence was actually shut off a year ago, and Max, still afraid of the fence, still afraid of getting zapped, but doesn't realize that the fence is shut off because it's broken, is still feeling trapped in his yard and still will not go outside of the perimeter of the fence. He says, you laugh at this, but is it possible that you may be more like Max than you think? Are you trapped? Are you living behind lies? Has somebody said something to you at some point in time, whether it's about like, oh, you will never get that job, or we talked about this yesterday, about the lies that you're believing that's holding you trapped to where you're at. What do you want? What do you want to go after? Like, why have you not gotten healthy? Why can you not stick to a routine? Like, why are you physically feeling like, I was told I'm going to be this way, I can't have that? Are you trapped behind an invisible fence? And the invisible fence for you would be a lie. So we talked about detecting the lies yesterday. Did you think about what you're thinking about? If you didn't watch that live, go watch it from yesterday or go listen to it. Did you think about what you're thinking about? And if you have no idea, then I'm going to tell you again. Pay attention to the lies that you're believing throughout the day. What causes you to be anxious or fearful or, I really want to go to the gym, but I'm not going to. Or what stops you from pursuing your better? What stops you from going after the things that you want? It could be the thoughts that you randomly think. It could be the thoughts that people, or the things that people say over you. So he basically just speaks. What I love about this book is he gives you things for you to say, affirmations. Remember how I said in this little prayer journal, there's affirmations for me to read. And this book is by Pastor Groeschel. So he very much says, your mindset can be, it talks in the Bible about your mindset, and it talks about in the Bible about the things that you think are who you become, but he goes, it's scientific as well. In this chapter, he gives you a ton of affirmations and a ton of things to think about. Questions like, he says, you need to ask yourself things like let me find them. He goes, you need to identify the problem. You need to ask probing questions and pinpoint the lie. Once you pinpoint the lie, you have to ask yourself, why am I doing this? When did this start? How does this make you feel? Is fear driving this? If so, what am I afraid of? Is there certain triggers that prompt my behavior? So what I love about the book, and if this is something that you're like, I actually really need to conquer a fear, I really need to get over whatever's holding me back, there's tons of questions, and then he gives everybody like declarations. He gives you things to go through. And he's going to give you Bible verses that are going to help you when you find that trigger, when you have that fear, when you have something that comes up. It's going to give you things to be able to go, oh, that's a lie, and I need to replace it with something else. So I would say this book is incredible. So I would highly recommend getting it. He says, you need to investigate the patterns of self-sabotage. And he goes, perhaps you will find yourself saying something like, oh my goodness, I'm a victim. Or, I've been believing this lie for years. When did this start? Why do I feel like this? And so just like we talked about yesterday, think about what you're thinking about. Write it down, positives and negatives. And the negatives, you're going to have to figure out why you're believing that, who told you that it's an actual lie, and replace it with a truth. Like, for example, here's an example. He says, here's the lie. I'm a victim. Nothing good will ever happen to me. He goes, here's a truth. If God is for me, who can be against me? And then he gives you a Bible verse. In all these things, we are more than conquerors through him who loves us. And then he gives you Romans 8:31. So he gives you here's a lie, here's a truth, here's a declaration. God tells me that I'm not a victim, but a victor in Christ. I am an overcomer, and I can do all things through him who gives me strength. So that's what you need to do. You need to figure out the lie. You need to figure out the truth, and then you declare it over yourself so that you're not that dog, so that you're not Max stuck behind a fence that's not even on. It was a lie. He wouldn't chase the car, which is probably good. He wouldn't go play ball. He wouldn't go after the cat, but the fence wasn't on. So what is holding you back? What are the lies? And I wish I could tell you what they are, but I can't. You know, just like I tell people, you know exactly how to eat healthy. You know that you should be drinking water. You know the foods you should be eating. You know you should move your body. You know you should be getting sleep. Like, you know the things you need to do to physically get healthy. There's things you can tweak. There's things I can help you with. But I'm going to guess that if you just paid attention and had awareness today for just a little bit of time, and you're like, I know this is a lie because deep down in my heart, I want to do something different, but I don't do it because my dad told me I would never amount to much, or my sister or my coworker or a friend from high school said that I was a loser. Whatever that little lie was planted in your head, I'm pretty sure you play that over and over, and you can go, all right, I'm going to write this down, and I'm going to figure out what the actual truth is. That's what this book does. It's going to empower you to get past the fence. All right, the last thing I wanted to read to you was, he says, this is not something that you do once. This is something that you will have to do thousands of times in your life, maybe dozens of times every single day. The definition of principle is a decision that you will make once you live by them. He goes, it's not like, I know the truth. I know lies that pop into my head, and I still have to fight those daily. By reading the word, the first thing I do, well, not always the first thing I do, is I get up and I read my Bible, right? And I learn the truths that are about me. And sometimes I have a bad day. I will tell you, we may have not had a great day in our home yesterday. I think at one point, everybody was crabby at one point. And so you just have to combat that, right? Yes, I love seeing all of your comments. All right, so this is the book that we're reading for those who just asked what book we're going through. Winning the War in Your Mind. I would highly recommend actually grabbing the book because it's going to actually give you the questions and the kind of activity to work through to help you on your mindset. Otherwise, continue to tune in. So you can always go to KetoMomSecrets.com, click on book club, and there's this book that we've already gone through. We're going through it again in other books. Otherwise, click on recipes, send me a message. I'm here to help. That is all I have for you today. So be aware of your thoughts. Be aware of your mindset. Be aware of the things that you are thinking about so that you can capture the lies, change it so that you can conquer that, and do the things that you're truly called to do. All right. I hope you guys have an incredible day. Thank you for tuning in. Your presence matters, and we'll talk to you very soon. Bye, everybody.